Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Wind Waker Unflooded. I am Kendrick, and this is a 3D modeling fan art project where we are reimagining the Kingdom of Hyrule within the world and art style of The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. Of course, you know, if you've played The Wind Waker, you know that all the islands of the Great Sea are actually the mountaintops of Hyrule, but we never get to explore Hyrule. All we see is a small portion of it around the castle, and we're teased at this whole world that's beneath the waves of the Great Sea that we never really get to see until now. This is that project. Using the power of 3D modeling, we are bringing that world, which we were told it's out there. We were told it's out there, but we never got to see it. We never got to explore it. And us Zelda fans, we're explorers. We want to be able to see the world for ourselves. And so this is that project, just being able to fully realize the Kingdom of Hyrule within that art style, lining up with the islands of the Great Sea, extrapolating from those locations and connecting those islands to the world down below. This is Wind Waker Unflooded. So welcome all. Today, I think we're getting into an exciting episode. This is something that I've been thinking about for a while. We've discussed before, like kind of during the Lon Lon Ranch video, we were discussing kind of themes of class in this story, right? Because I guess, first off, just in case y'all haven't heard that spiel from me yet, is like, yes, this is a 3D model. This is a visual art project. But there is a story being told through this model, right? Is that this is Wind Waker right before the Great Flood. This is the world of Hyrule right before it floods. Ganon is returning. Castletown has been rebuilt, but not destroyed yet. Ganon will soon invade and destroy it again. And the world will soon flood. But right now, Hyrule's kind of at its peak of prosperity. But that doesn't mean that everything's right. So it's that balance of, because I think part of the story I want to tell through this world is setting up, well, why did it fall again? Why was it so easy for Ganon to invade again? Maybe they learned some lessons from Ganon's first invasion during the events of Ocarina of Time, but was setting them up for failure again during this prologue for the Wind Waker. And comment down below if there's any other ideas that kind of reminds you of. I'd like to know your thoughts about that and how to help tell that story within Hyrule. How can we kind of reinforce that idea of they are, superficially prosperous, but on the inside, they are not prepared for another invasion, as much as they want to be. And so I think just a part of this story, though, of class, right? I think that's an issue that there is. During the Lon Lon Ranch video, though, I was just kind of talking about how they are like people that deliver their goods to the castle. They are delivering it to the king, but in retrospect, it doesn't seem like that's an esteemed honor. It's not like, oh yes, they are they're the best milk in the land. They get to deliver it straight to the king. It almost reads more as an offering, right? They offer their milk to the king, and that's all it is. I think about Lon Lon Ranch and Talon, and they don't seem incredibly wealthy, and so I wanted to start to model a farmhouse, a different ranch closer to Hyrule Castletown. Thinking about, well, what is a wealthy farmhouse look like, right? And they might have a very different story, right? They're up on a hill. It's going to be a little bit more uppity, right? And there's things that this is definitely meant to harken back to visually, right? And just thinking about the property and the way it's laid out. But ultimately, it's it's up on the hill. It's overlooking Castletown. That's also contrasting with the Hyrule Castletown apartments. Recently, I did a video modeling some apartments for Castletown. And I think that they're nice apartments, but there is kind of a contrast now between there's an even nicer house overlooking the apartments, right? They're cramped, and this kind of nice mansion has space. And so it's just another statement of class. And so that's all part of the perspective that I'm working on. I think already what I've said already says a lot about what I'm going for with this house. So without further ado, I do think it's time for a short break before we continue. So y'all, thank you all so much for watching, but I will talk to all of you again after the break. See you then.
If you want to be able to support me as a creator, there's several ways that you can do that. Become a member on Patreon. It gives you access to exclusive bonus features and early access content in all of my filmmaking projects. Stuff like early access to scripts that I'm writing, storyboards, previs, rough cuts, and music that I compose. I'm a composer, and any music that you've heard in the background of this video was my music. So go to Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music and type in Joe Kendrick. That's JoeKendrick. Look up Joe Kendrick on Spotify.
And we're back. Hello, everyone. Just as always, I have to remind you how you can support me as a creator. I don't make any ad revenue from this channel. If you saw an ad on the videos, because YouTube might be putting ads on the video, and I don't think that's right. For me, Wind Waker Unflooded is completely not monetized. I don't make any money. Excuse me. I don't make any money from Wind Waker Unflooded. So any way that you want to be able to support me as a creator is incredibly meaningful, and I appreciate everyone that has supported me already. So if you want to be able to donate by becoming a member on Patreon or donating through my Ko-fi page or listening to my music on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music, all of those ways are incredibly meaningful, and I appreciate everyone that has supported me so far. It helps make possible the creation of all the creative projects that I do. So I really appreciate that, and always have to remind you how you can support me. So let's look at our progress again. So I think this is a nice as I was talking about this farmhouse and its proximity to Castletown and its comparison with Longmont Ranch, I also want to draw attention to its proximity to the railroad. A part of the high class, how do I put it? The amenities of this property are the convenience of transportation. And with that in mind, this is just, if there's a piece of property that is, maybe has more amenities than the castle, I think it would be a place like this. This is just kind of that question of what does the upper class of Hyrule look like, right? And I think like this is just a start on this property. I think there would be more, and especially with a ranch in mind, I'd like to kind of show off a little bit more of that, right? Being able to show who else is living on the property, right? Have some of those gardeners' cabins. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And all these ways that can kind of help tell the story of this class divide in Hyrule. So these are all things that I'm thinking of. And comment down below if there's anything else that you want to, that comes to your mind. Like I said, to help tell the story. Like I always say, I appreciate y'all's suggestions, and that makes possible. That directly informs like what I work on next, is what y'all suggest and the ideas that y'all have. And so I always really appreciate that, whether it's positive or negative feedback. Just, I accept criticism. I want to know if there's something I'm doing and you're going, oh, I wouldn't quite do it that way. I want to hear that just so I can make something that we're all proud of. And as a Zelda fan community, we can all share and value together. We can all say, yeah, this is what Hyrule would look like before the Great Flood. And so I want to know what y'all have to say, and y'all's feedback and y'all's ideas, whether that's pulling locations from other games or just ideas that you have of how to make this world, how to make it more fully fledged, right? How to help it tell its story, how to show its prosperity, details that you think might be helpful. I appreciate all those ideas, and those are all, like I said, I read the comments, and those directly impact what I work on next. So, and especially with all this in mind, if you have any ideas of how to continue to show, to continue to tell some of these stories about this class divide, I want to know y'all's ideas and what this elicits within your own imagination and what can be added to the world to help kind of drive home some of those points, to help show how Hyrule was not ready to be invaded again. I would definitely like to know y'all's perspectives on that and y'all's ideas, and how to help tie that into the world of the Wind Waker. And geographically, I don't know, I think that's something that's interesting with farmland. This is very much up on a mountain, and that kind of isolates this little ranch here. But that isolation of this piece of property and it being up on the hill, I think also helps tell that story and helps show its, there's upper class people love to be showy, right? I think about the Globe Theater, right? How there was seating behind the stage, and it was never a good seat, but it was visible. And so an audience member, the upper class patrons, right? They could sit behind the stage and look out at everyone just so that everyone could see them. It was up on a balcony, so everyone else in the audience would be able to see, yes, that is a wealthy person, because they're up there and they're able to show off. And it's they're almost willing to sacrifice their own comfort so that other people can see their wealth. And I think that that's an interesting story. The rich people just don't make any sense, right? That is the lesson. But y'all, I'm just kind of rambling. So I want to just, thank you all so much for watching. I've already told you how you can support me as a creator. So without further ado, I'll let you go.